Welcome back, and since the last time I made a video on the T-2, it actually has been changed a little bit because it got a 9Js. Now today we are flying out the premium variant, and yes, it is identical to the one we have in the tech tree, other than the skin as well as the multipliers. Other than that, you are not gonna fly these two any different way. Even though the last time we kind of got an 8-kill game just absolutely clapped out because we got slammed by a Gepard, we are still gonna be running the rocket pod here, only one of them on the left hand side, 4 makeshift flares essentially. You will run into A-10s, Su-25s, and just planes with R-60s and stuff from behind as well, and it's always a good thing to have a way to actually combat these missiles. The T-2 is not particularly great when it comes to dodging missiles without any flares or countermeasures, because it doesn't actually turn that well. It just pulls a hell of a lot of AOA, which is essentially the slip angle in the easiest way of explaining it. And slipping in the air doesn't really make you turn out of the seeker head, it kind of just makes you fly in place. Now, at medium to high altitude, you are not going to be dodging any missiles, unless you are willing to sacrifice every ounce of airspeed to do such a thing. Even though it might only be an AIM-9B or an AIM-9E at medium altitude, you still need to be careful, because this plane doesn't particularly pull very hard. In a prolonged dogfight, it's somewhat okay, because it can kind of stand on its engine, but don't expect to actually outturn many people. The main reason for winning dogfights and getting shots is actually because you pull so much AOA and simply lose that much speed. The T-2 is very much dependent on your matchmaker, and more often than not you might find yourself in positions where you get pressured into a group of enemies, and then this thing is kind of useless. It's a plane that's very fast, but it can't really retain its energy, as I just said, which essentially means that if you have to 1v2 and one of them catches you, you're probably going to die. You can dogfight with this thing in a 1v1, 2v1s, you just run out of speed too quickly, and there's really no way to regain it very fast, unless of course you are in a down tier. But I mean, in a down tier essentially every plane is overpowered, because the compression at jets is just completely ridiculous. Flying a one-seater plane in orbit is definitely an experience that might get a bit stale, so today I want to take a look at flying a multi-crew vessel all the way in outer space. And as a long-term sci-fi fan, I want to thank today's sponsor, the giant space MMO Star Trek Fleet Command, which lets you commandeer your fleet to explore and conquer the galaxy. While the desktop is definitely the preferred way to play this game, you can also play it on the move on your mobile devices. With the last update, they added a team-based wave defense mode where you protect a central hub against increasingly powerful enemies. And this is the kind of game mode I've been playing since I was young. Just see how far you can go, you don't have to worry about anything else, just the numbers on the screen gives you a massive dopamine rush. And don't worry, you can join random teams, and if you are a fresh player, it's absolutely perfect to find new alliances and some new friends along the way. If you also want to play this beautifully dynamic game, you can do so by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking the link in the description. Don't forget to use my promo code WARPSPEED before you reach level 10 to give you access to the very iconic Captain Kirk. So check out the game down below, maybe you'll run into me, and if there's enough of you, maybe we can actually start making our own alliance and dominate the galaxy. Overall, flying the T-2 is pretty simple, however you do need to know what you are facing and how to combat not every enemy, but every enemy at your own BR. If you get down tiered, you're good. You're too fast for anything to catch you, and you can just kind of play it slow and methodical, and you should be completely fine. At your own tier, it's a bit of a 50-50. Some planes you can turn into, some planes you can outrun, and some planes you can actually just straight up out dogfight, which is fantastic. In an up tier, it kind of starts to struggle, and it's the same thing with the F1. It's essentially the same plane there as well. You're just not fast enough, you don't turn well enough, and it kind of becomes this middle of the road kind of plane where it's not completely dog shit, but every plane that you're going up against has something to just completely trump you in, and that's very annoying. That is going to make you stop wanting to play this plane. But in the regular game, the regular matchmaker was pretty lenient. Overall, I had a pretty good time in this, and that's mostly down to the matchmaker, because, well, I saw a lot of 9.0s, sometimes even 8.7s like you're seeing right here, and then you can kind of just dictate whatever the hell you want to do. We have this guy in low alt orbit, he doesn't have countermeasures, he's not going very fast, so I just kind of shoot a missile his way, and the second it comes off the rail, even if he sees it come off the rail, he's gonna be too late. He doesn't have the ability to pull into the missile, and he doesn't have the time to break the heat signature, so he is essentially just dead. And it's the same thing with the J2 here. It's a MiG-15 bis, and the MiG-15 bis is extremely annoying to deal with in a plane like this. because he can basically dodge me all day long. But if I'm at medium to high altitude, I have a missile prepped, and he's not going fast enough, and he doesn't have the spacing to really do anything about the missile, free kill. So I try to save the missiles for either secure kills or planes that I just really want dead. The G91, for example, is also kind of annoying to kill. However, this guy is busy with someone else, as well as the fact that the G91 actually loses speed. So that's a plane that I can actually continuously boom and zoom until we suck his balls dry. And the G91, it's not that hard to do against. CL-13s, F-86s, and like all the kind of old school 9.0s, which might be down tiered nowadays, are kind of annoying to deal with. And I see something in my left hand side of the screen. It's an Ariete, and the Ariete is something that I want to stay clear of as much as I can. That's a plane that I am not gonna hit. I need the third party, and that's something that I kind of want to save my missile for. And I'm really regretting shooting both of them off at this point, but because we did kill 3 people very quickly, we kind of snowballed the enemy team, and we should be good on track to win the game regardless. But an Ariete is something that I just don't want to deal with. It's a plane that's way too hard to hit. It maintains its energy very well. I can't drain those balls whatsoever, and I really just need to get a lucky third party with him not paying attention at all. For now, this is not gonna happen, so I'm just gonna try and stay clear of it and kill everything around him. But as you can tell, our team is looking pretty solid, and theirs is looking kind of flaccid. So for now, I'm just gonna see who I can pick off. If the Ariete presents itself, I of course will take the opportunity with both my hands to suck on it. But for now, just look at how the game progresses and try to get as many kills as possible. We have 2 hunters in front of us. This is the Swiss one, so I know that this is probably the best one in the lobby, because it does have flares, it's harder to kill, and he kind of just flies underneath us, but I missed that shot. And if you paid a bit of attention, you see that the rudder on this thing, well, what can I say? It's extremely annoying to use. It's kind of floppy. It feels like a P-51 at high speed. It doesn't really have much input. And overall, it's making me miss a lot of shots. Now, it's a partial skill issue, I do agree. But the plane is simply not helping and not very ergonomic when it comes to that. Now, when a guy just kind of flies in front of you and doesn't try to dodge at all, and basically just flies straight in front of you, I mean, you have the time and the ability to correct your shot. It's not completely unresponsive, but for the quick snapshots, it's definitely, well, the family-friendly way of saying it is less than ideal. Now, Ariete kind of latches on, and I don't want him to follow me around. I don't want that guy on my 6, and he's kind of trying to bait me into turning for him. I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to take the wide loop around, and I'm going to be completely ignoring this guy. There is no reason for me to take that fight. Instead, I'm just going to ignore him. I'm much faster. I have better acceleration at these speeds, and I'm just going to try to kill one of the hunters. Now, the hunter below us is going head on with an A4E, but the A4E I'm not really too worried about, and he can maybe even win the head on. Instead, I'm gonna go help the F-104 out, who is dogfighting the hunter in, well, you can actually see exactly how high. He's about 5.5 kilometers because the contrail just disappeared. And my team, the rest of my team, can't really help out up here, and the F-104 is probably gonna lose that dogfight if he sticks it. F-104 breaks off, but he leaves the hunter pretty, well, dry and low on energy. And at this point, the hunter is trying to reverse me. I cut throttle a little bit to make sure that I stay behind him. And because it's a hunter and I'm in a T-2 that sheds away a lot of speed very quickly, we can very easily stay behind him. And the hunter is probably not that much of an issue in this thing. The hunter doesn't turn that well. It turns okay, but if you're sitting on its 6, it's gonna maintain its energy quite well. And you don't, and you pull a lot of AOA, so it's very hard for the hunter to get rid of you. The second you get on him, just make sure you don't overshoot, and if you stay on him, if you don't go faster than him, and even if you do, you can slow down much faster than him anyway, you should have a pretty secure kill. Now I see the Ariete turn to the left. I'm not even going to bother. No real reason to do that. Instead, I'm going to fly straight towards the MiG-21, and it's only an F-13. He's not going particularly fast. You kind of get a snapshot, set him on fire, he instantly burns up. And at this point, I think to myself, well, I am not going to bother with this guy. I'm going to go RTB. I'm going to get 2 more A9Js, and then I'm simply just going to missile the Ariete, because I already know that I'm going to lose this fight in the long run. He just has to dodge me for like 40-ish seconds, and I'm going to be out of fuel, maybe out of ammo because I miss everything, but then he rips, so I really have nothing to worry about. And then for the last guy, it's an Su-7 that just took off. He has been circling the base for a little bit. We put a blind hunt on him, and I'm not sure where he wants to go. I can completely cut him off, going more to the right. but I'm not sure where he's going exactly just yet. And one of my teammates is actually trying to ground pound, which means that I'm kind of on the clock here to try and get this kill as quickly as possible. So I'm going to start being a little bit more aggressive with the cutoff here and try to get within missile range as fast as possible, because you can see the tickets. It's not in my favor, and I won that 7 kills, so I can put it on the spreadsheet. Yes, I'm a nerd like that. I record every game that has more than 7 kills. Shoot the missile off the second we are in range, and the actual second we hit him, the game ends on tickets. Absolutely perfect. If I had shot that like a split second later, it wouldn't have counted. So that's +1 for the 7 kill games. We get engaged at the start here. We are kind of on the side. MiG-21 shoots a missile at us, and it's probably a radar missile. But he's so busy trying to go for someone else that we just kind of sit below him and we shove an AIM-9J up his ass. Fantastic. We then dive out because we want to keep our speed a little bit higher, because right now I'm a completely sitting duck with these tiny ass wings at medium altitude, which means that I'm dead the second anyone looks at me if I'm not able to, well, flare said missile. No one there to really contest us, so I'm gonna loop back in and fly towards the middle of the game and see who we can pick off. We have a MiG-21 coming in for us, and he's not pointing at me just yet, so I know that he's not prepping a radar missile, so I'm being a little bit more aggressive. Turns out it's a PFM, so he couldn't radar missile us anyway. We then swipe some ground units. We don't actually kill him, but we probably killed someone's dad just now. My condolences, but that's just war, isn't it? Everyone comes head on with us. I'm just going to keep flying straight. This is a fight that I'm not going to contest. See the missile coming in. I shoot some rocket pods with the afterburner off, but I see that it's still tracking. So I'm going to continue to do the dead fish on the land and just kind of flop around for a little bit longer. Missile doesn't track. Absolutely perfect. And then we have 2 guys in front of us, which both of them I'm not really too concerned about, but they do have some decent missiles here. And I don't have that many rockets left, so I'm going to pre-fire the rockets for the R60M. But he tries to neck G into the shot. That's never going to work because you don't have the nose authority to do such a maneuver. I'm just going to let him fly. Now he is flying directly into a tree. But if he wasn't, well, I still had to let him go, because I'm not going to turn around and let this Ajit ride my ass. I'm not a big fan of that stuff. So Tractor Boy here is about to get John Deered. And I'm just trying to stay behind him. The Ajit is kind of scary to dogfight in this thing. You don't want to overshoot it. It's very nimble. It loses a decent amount of speed because it's delta wing. But it also has a pretty decent engine. Turns out Tractor Boy is just gonna fly straight. Now, I was kind of scared of getting bombed. That's also why I broke off early. Why I tried to cap my distance. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So we turn around, we fly towards the middle for a little bit. And then we go head on with an AMX. And the AMX tries to pull head on last second. But it also means that he won't be able to fire an AIM-9L. Which is fantastic, because then I don't have to waste any of my rockets anymore. Ajit is flying away, but a MiG-21 appears in front of us. It's an SPS, and he either has no gun or no flares. It's one or the other, and it turns out this guy, well, he had a gun. And because we killed him, it's now actually 1v1 versus the AMX. And the AMX just did a 180. It wasn't going that fast to begin with. And if you've seen my video on the AMX at low speed, it's not that great. And because he's not going that fast to begin with, I just want to pull him vertical, because he is not going to turn very well. He's essentially going to drop out of the air. So we go head on with him. We dodge the guns. We kind of prepare for the missile. It doesn't come off. And we just go vertical. He tries to go vertical after us, but he doesn't have a strong engine. He doesn't turn that well at low speed. And we just kind of drift in place, and he flows directly in our guns. And just to wrap up the entirety of the game, Su-25, I thought he was going head on, but well, I'm not sure what he's trying to do, so we just shoot him directly in the cockpit, and we go into the next game. We have an A4E coming directly head on, and I was also expecting this guy to pull in, but he's AFK, and we just kind of tap him out of the air. We turn around, we re-engage the middle of the game, and then the A4E kind of pops up directly above us, so he's going to try to cut us off. I'm trying to make it so that he has to turn the most amount possible, so he won't get very closely on our 6. And because we're going so much quicker, we are basically instantly out of the danger zone. And I start to feel a bit like Maverick does. He shoots a missile. It's only an AIM-9E because it's an A4E. I still flare just in case, because there's not many high-powered missiles in this game anyway. And I'm not about to risk it. So we dodge the missile. We fly towards the middle of the map. We have an F-104 that doesn't have flares. And if he keeps this trajectory up, I should be getting close pretty fast. Now this guy is going to absolutely catch that. There's no way he's going to dodge it. Down he goes, and I'm just going to continue flying straight towards the F-11 and see if I can help out my friend there in the Swift. The F-11 is not going particularly quick. He's not really reacting to me at all, but I just can't aim. Partially because of the rudder, Also just some poor gunnery, and I completely underlet that. So at the end of the day, it is a massive skill issue. Decal in the description, of course. We turn around, and that is going to be basically the game here. We fly towards some people, we miss our shots, we disengage, and we turn around. In this case, we miss our shots, we don't turn around completely, we turn in, and the second we get a shot, he gets gunned down by someone else. So we switch, we turn a little bit, we fly straight, we gun at someone, we miss our shots. You seeing the trend yet? Now let's see for the last guy, we miss our shots, we keep flying straight. So overall this game I could have gotten a lot more kills if my aim was actually decent. But my aim just went completely out of the window, which is why this was the last game of that day. Now we are turning around. I have to lock in now. We start look maxing. We slap the first one directly on the forehead. J34 tries to turn for a little bit. Sees us just too late. Is too slow to dodge. We gun him down as well. Get a cheeky little double kill. And then I think, oh yeah, baby, we are back. So I start shooting at this F100. And I just completely whiff again. So we are now back to flying straight, missing our shot, and turning around again. At this point, the game is already over anyway. So it doesn't really matter what we do too much anymore. We have like 3 people here in the middle of the game. 2 of them are actually pretty good at the game. So I mean, they are not going to be losing that 3v1. And this J34 is way too slow. Just kind of drifts in front of us. And he's about to give me the freest shot of the world. You thought I was going to miss that, didn't you? Well, I have news for you. So did I. No, I'm not trying to rocket him from 1.5 kilometers away. I'm just trying to pre-flare, so to speak, in case someone is shooting at me that I wasn't aware of. Now, there is no one here. I don't have to be that conservative with these rockets, because we are at a pretty lenient BR yet again. And you might say, I'm just uploading the up tiers or the down tiers, and I'm just cherry picking the content to make this plane look good. And you're kind of correct, because, well, the 2 up tiers that I did get that weren't in this video, I got clapped by a MiG-21 SMT. And trust me, there is nothing they show you there, because that guy just kind of rocks up behind you, out-accelerates you, out-turns you, and then shoves 4 R60s directly up your bomb hole. And let me tell you, those matches are not worth showing, because I died before I got to do anything. So for now, we can do the same thing. We got a moderate tier here, we got slightly down tier. There's a lot of 9.3s and 9.0s in this game. So we can actually utilize our strength, which is speed and pull. We fly in, we again miss our shots, we turn around, and we boom and zoom. And overall this plane is super straightforward and honestly kind of monotone to fly when you get these down tiers. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised I managed to hold a 16.5 minute yap session on a plane that's essentially just point and click. Now, of course, you do want to be careful, and I wish I could show you more actual fights that, you know, that showcase the flight performance, but overall, you kind of have to fly it this way. You are just a weaker F104 that actually has the ability to pull into some shots, but you're also sacrificing so much that you just open yourself up completely for some guy to come out of nowhere and just slam you out of the air. So this plane, like in a nutshell, even though I had a super lenient matchmaker, I went like 40-3. Like we had a pretty good time in this thing. I'm not a big fan of it, because you're just completely limited by the airframe, and it all depends on who engages you, who leaves you alone, who wants you to be dead. And some games you are just completely shackled, you'll get nothing done, and other games you just completely slam everyone because you get a down tier yet again. So it's very hard to make an actual video on this thing. That's also why I tried to make it a little bit longer than usual, so you have a little bit more footage to go off on. But overall, it's, I mean, I'm running out of stuff to say. I mean, my voice is dead, I'm tired. I'm really just trying to fill in the last bits and pieces of this gameplay. And you know, I'm cooked when I'm not even able to yap anymore. Because whenever I fight someone in this thing, I mean, it's like with this A32, so he comes head on, he tries to dodge me, we crit him, and the fight is instantly over. Like, what do I need to talk about here? Do I need to say that I'm spiraling up here to maintain my energy advantage, so that I don't accidentally overshoot, and we can secure the bag against this absolutely horrendous attacker? I mean, I either have a complete advantage in flight performance, which 9 out of 10 times means that I'm faster, or he cooks me in one turn because he's flying a MiG-21 SMT. We try to rocket him, we miss everything, we manage to get a crit in, he is still not dead, he's gonna kiss the tree in a second, and the video is finally over, and holy fuck, am I tired of this plane, so I'm gonna go right to bed. Thank you all for watching, and you'll see me all on Monday with a prop video.